All right. All right, come on in. Got a heck of a show for you tonight. I'm not going to talk a lot tonight. I'm going to let y'all listen to this and let the tournament go. Um, like I said, if you say anything stupid or if you ask where I get my information, it's none of your business. I work for people, and that's it. Mary Jane, if you come on my channel again, I'm going to have the CIA check on you. Ex-CIA. Okay? I'm done playing your games. We're going to save people's life, and if you're not, then you're a pedophile. I'm not looking for subscribers. If you subscribe, that's fine, so be it. The ones that subscribe are the ones that wants to live. The ones that don't, you go back to that CIA operative that says the blood moon wasn't real, it was fake. And we'll see who survives. Okay?
Resolution that the majority leader introduced, I believe, earlier today. This is an authorization for military force resolution that apparently purports to give the president legal authority to conduct military operations against ISIS. Before we break for the weekend, Madam President, I thought it was important to come to the floor to explain why, very briefly, to my colleagues, to explain what this resolution.
Oh yeah, by the way, Victoria is a wrestler, used to be in the WWF. I created her against Peyton Royce. Enjoy.
Really is. This resolution is a total rewrite of the War Powers Clause of the United States Constitution. Let's be clear about that. It is essentially a declaration of international martial law, a sweeping transfer of military power to the president that will allow him or her to send U.S. troops almost anywhere in the world for almost any reason with absolutely no limitations.
Hello, citizens of the United States. We are anonymous. This resolution is a total rewrite of the War Powers Clause in the U.S. Constitution, said Senator Chris Murphy, D-Con. It is essentially a declaration of international martial law, a sweeping transfer of military power to the president that will allow him or her to send U.S. troops almost anywhere in the world, for almost any reason, with absolutely no limitations. McConnell's resolution is more than what Obama asked for last year, but this is of little relevance since Obama has been carrying out a war against ISIS, including the use of special forces, with no authorization. The administration has refused to put forward a legal framework, insisting that the 2001 AUMF is enough. As the New York Times pointed out, ISIS was created long after 9/11 and is actually a competitor to Al-Qaeda, which means that Obama's war on ISIS is not justified under the 2001 AUMF. Even members of Congress recognize that current military operations have no legal basis. I believe the war is illegal, said Senator Tim Kaine. I don't think there's a legal justification for it. And I think the greatest danger we end up doing is allowing the president to wage a war without Congress weighing in. Using this rationale, Kaine and others in Congress are thrilled to know that a new AUMF could be voted on at any time. Some would prefer more restrictions, but the bottom line is that it represents an abdication of constitutional duties that would give vast military powers to one person. Senator John Cornyn expressed the usual platitudes in cheering for the vote, saying, "The people we send in harm's way need to know that the country is behind them, and we also don't need to tie the hands of the next president by restricting what the president can do." For some lawmakers, it's more about giving the next president unlimited power than it is about Obama. McConnell's about face from December, when he expressed no interest in voting on an AUMF, may also be a ploy to make the issue a major talking point in the presidential election. There's nothing like talk of war to whip up fear in the masses and distract them from substantive issues. It is no coincidence that just days ago, Defense Secretary Ash Carter said about the fight against ISIS, "We're looking for opportunities to do more and there will be boots on the ground, and I want to be clear about that." Since ISIS is partially a product of American intervention in the Middle East, being cultivated from the Salafist sect to foment regime change in Syria, boots on the ground would complete another cycle for the merchants of death and destruction. The Hegelian dialectic creates the problem. The reaction, offer the solution, is a tried and true method for endless war. We have already seen the extremely tenuous connections that war makers use to justify their death and destruction waged around the world and on their own people. McConnell's AUMF would clear away any feeble barriers that still stand in the way of a military dictatorship. This act can lead to martial law and will bring riots on the streets. We have found some ways to survive a martial law crisis. Rule number 1: never take the government's word at face value except when they tell you that they'll kill you. Government and its components of career politicians, bureaucratic vermin, and their agents of enforcement, the SS ninja wannabes, have survived on illusion and lies, and for a lot longer than you'd think. It's the very nature of the job, being part of an empire.
What's up, Rachel? Just enjoy. All I got to say is I'm not going to say a lot. I'm just going to let y'all hear what Anonymous is saying, which they're not lying. I'm not lying. If I was lying, I wouldn't be here. Just going to be honest with you. I'm not wasting my time like everybody else is. But thanks for the first one like. And thank you for the viewers on the other videos that I put out there. I'm working hard for you and your freedom. Because who else is? I don't see anybody else.
Are wrapped in the cloak of American political traditions of freedom that corrupts all that power, attracting the most venal along with the most patriotic to defend America. All that license under ever immutable law written by money whores to lie, steal, embezzle, blackmail, extort, poison, torture, enslave, murder. Is it any wonder then that such human scum would get together and work the system to set themselves up as kings, dispensing with the pretty coverings of constitutional limitations that trip their crimes like a prom dress? They take as much as they can, while keeping you asleep, as you let yourself be seduced and put asleep by their fellow travelers in the media and corporate boardrooms. Rule number 2: keep your mouth shut. Do not tell anyone anything that could get you in trouble. Assume anything can get you in trouble, because it probably will, especially with any government official, but anyone looking to gaining a favor with the state can and will snitch on you. The rat who would sell you out for his 30 pieces could be, *, a small businessman looking for in with the state so he can make money a little easier. *, a former friend who's looking to get some revenge. *, someone desperate for even some food. Times are tough and will get tougher. Again, keep your mouth shut. Review the remaining rules of surviving martial law with rule number 2 always in mind. Because some rat on 2 legs you say the wrong thing to, will snitch to the authority.
Oh yeah, I'm going to hang in there all alone. Mary Jane's just scumbag. And I kicked him off. And yes, it's not a her, it's a he. His name's Burns. And he got a butt kicking today. I believe he got a phone call too by NSA. But yeah, he threatened me. He threatened to kill me. I got the message. I actually sent it to YouTube too. You did? That's what I thought. A lot of people seen it. It's okay. I'm never going to stop. Never. Like I said, I've had AR-15s in my head, SWAT team at my head. Nobody's going to stop me. My family's not going to stop me. My friends are not going to stop me. None of y'all are going to stop me. My grandfather said, keep on fighting for me. And that's what I'm going to do. I love every one of y'all. Y'all don't understand. You've got people out there that works for Clinton. Okay? And Obama and Bush and all of them. If you want to know the truth, every one of them is together. You're going to find that out when that blonde goes into the White House or goes to Washington in a UPS truck. They're all going to find out. I'm never going to stop. The only way I'm going to stop if YouTube and Facebook is in the Pacific Ocean.
Parties in exchange for favors or even brownie points, and then you get to find out how ironclad rule number 1 is: keep your big mouth shut. Rule number 3: any authority figure is the enemy. Unless you are waging a war of liberation, gathering intelligence, or spreading disinformation or infiltrating, have no relation with nor voluntary contact with any soldier, police officer, bureaucrat, or anyone in authority and private life cooperating with martial law. Review rule number 1. Assume they're all liars, con artists, haulers, thieves, and sellouts. Same goes to any fellow travelers in big business. They and government have been in the same bed for centuries. Stay away from them as much as possible. Tell them lies. Don't do any business with them.
NSA gave me his name and where he lives. He lives in California, and his name is Robert Wild. If I was Robert, I would get out of there because China's going to burn you out of your house with their drones.
Unless they're sticking a gun in your face, don't even acknowledge that they exist. Shun them, their family, and any sycophants that fawn over them for a few favors. Rule number 4: your personal survival is more important than obeying any dictate. If you're prohibited from having an item that helps you survive, get the item. Review rule number 2 and keep your mouth shut. If you're prohibited from having extra food, medicine, guns, no-brainer, then you will cache your prohibited items in a place where they won't easily be found. Use your imagination. One idea is to store whatever in seal-tight waterproof containers in remote wooded areas, known only to you. Firearms are metallic. They can be detected by metal detectors unless you store them deep underground or in a place they won't think of looking right away, like sealed in wider metallic tubes, away from your property. And if you by chance acquire or keep firearms, knowing how to use them, sight alignment, trigger squeeze, and reloading ammunition will be mandatory. If you've never used a gun before, to use a gun, first find the proper ammunition for it. After loading, point an end forward, the ammo into the magazine, cylinder, or chamber. Load the weapon. On semi-automatic pistols, if the slide at the moving part on top is locked back, there's a small lever on the left side of the gun. Push on it and it will close. Otherwise, you'll have to pull the slide back yourself. Pistols are concealable. Rifles and shotguns are for starting a fight. Shotguns you load from a port on the underside, behind the forestock, or it breaks open. Rifles come in several varieties: single shot, pump, bolt action, automatic, and feed from the chamber, an internal magazine, or has a detaching magazine. The rifle you want first and foremost is automatic rifle in a military common caliber that, coupled with proper marksmanship, transforms you from a victim to a freedom fighter. Rule number 5: while keeping the above rules in mind, how about those who are resisting? They, unlike you, have decided that there's nothing to lose and therefore deserve anyone's help who's willing to risk their lives. Do you think martial law is going away on its own? Those bastards in black will have a sudden change of heart and do something worthwhile for a change and not oppress you. At the very least, have extra food, water for resistance fighters, basic medical supplies, ammo caches. Hint, these should be concealed. Those who fight will need to keep hidden, yet be able to communicate with fellow fighters. You can be an intermediary if you have skills like welding, machine tools.
Hey Michael, how you doing? Not talking a lot. I'm getting anonymous to tell y'all a lot of the information too. Somebody sent me a message. Some lady sent me a message asking where did I get my information. Well, that's some of it. Anonymous, the Marines Militia, WikiLeaks, ex-CIA Kevin Shipp, and ex-NSA Edward Snowden, along with ex-Navy John Moore, and my grandfather that was in World War II, plus my teacher from high school, reverse psychology. Everything's reversed, guys. Everything. I don't know how to explain it. Y'all just better get ready for a hurricane, Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana. We got one coming. It's going to pop up out of nowhere where you don't even know it's coming. The news is so distracted on the fake political Barnum and Bailey circus up in Washington, D.C., and I'm not. I'm wide awake, and I'm not on drugs like everybody else is, which they're color-coded pills.
Chemistry. You can make weapons, ammo, other things the resistance needs. If you have inside information, share it. If you have videography experience, tools, make how-to videos on resisting the theft of your freedoms. If you have medical training, set up an underground hospital. Not all patriots can or should pick up a rifle and blow a traitor's head off. By uniting in common cause with all one has to offer, the traitors can be defeated, and freedom restored to the land. If you're not at least giving aid to those helping to liberate you, forget this article. Go back to being a victim of government oppression. Rule number 6: with the utmost care, develop a survival network. This is a group of people with skills and no resources who can help each other in areas they would be lacking on their own. It could be anything from extra food, medicine, repair parts, fuel, transportation, whatever. In any given neighborhood, you can have machinists, weapon makers, medical personnel, drivers, good knowledge of local roads, gardeners, agriculture knowledge base. Petty bureaucrats secretly opposing martial law are prime candidates to spy, steal, or commit sabotage. Computer technicians can hack government systems and create surveillance systems and guidance packages for missiles. Construction workers can build secret rooms to hide anything from arms cache to a secret factory. People in the media can smuggle cameras and work with computer techs to bug enemy meetings and produce freedom media that documents successful means of resisting. Salesmen can borrow merchandise from their stores for use. Anything and everything is useful. Especially useful will be disgruntled cops and military who can provide everything from intel on raids to weapons to training. Keep the numbers of your group small. Smaller cells are more difficult to penetrate by enemy agents and professional snitches. Keeping that in mind, a means of communication independent from wiretapped phones and audible eavesdropping devices must be developed amongst you. Runners can be an athlete or a kid on a bike. They can carry small packages or notes with a handy breakable vial of flammable liquid if discovered. With a sealed packet of potassium chloride taped to it, the gasoline will automatically ignite, otherwise you'll have to actually light that incriminating evidence. A mail drop can be a home, a hollowed out tree trunk, a hole in the ground, an open fence pole, anything. Just be sure it's discreetly out of sight of surveillance. If God's really blessing you, one of your group will be a smart survivalist. This will be an exceedingly rare breed, because although most in this group were smart enough to prepare for the collapse to begin with, they weren't smart enough to avoid detection of their awareness and distrust of government. They signed Form 4477 registration forms for their firearms, used credit cards and checks for their weapon and ammunition purchases, registered for weapons permits, or register themselves with gun clubs and shooting organizations. These people more than likely got swept up in pre-dawn raids or got blasted resisting. The smart survivalist prepared and kept his mouth shut about those preparations. He or she never signed federal permit forms for purchases or carry license. He or she presented an average American profile or totally disappeared. Get or find one in your group and you'll have a literal treasury of know-how and resources to survive, maybe even start taking back a little. Rule number 7: avoid government monitoring and control. Know where the cameras are and how to avoid them. Know who patrols where and what routine they follow so as to avoid contact. Know your snitches and always feed them BS if you can't avoid them. Find ways around checkpoints.
He's right. Anybody that trolls you on the comment sections below, they will be blocked, kicked, and deleted because they've been messing with the women on my comments. If you do not, this is what the ladies are telling me. It's sexual harassment, and it's 21 months in prison. Now, I don't think half of y'all can make it in prison trolling people. So let me do you a favor right now. They're not putting you in prison. It's the death penalty. They're done putting you in jail. Just want you to know that. Just want you to know that. So grow up and grow some balls.
Side streets, forest paths, neighbor's yard, railroad tracks, tunnels, whatever go-around's necessary to getting from point A to point B without a pack of government troops searching you, checking your ID. I can't and won't go into detail. How you find your way will be up to you. Rule number 8: avoid a government roundup. It could be from a disaster, an attack, or even because they've decided to end the pretense and show you what they really think of you and your rights. You'll just wind up in a detention camp where your freedom of movement and resources is strictly controlled. That means having a place to go away from your area, a means to get there, and supplies. Very difficult to do in a martial law situation, with shortages and rationing at gunpoint. Remember the victims of Hurricane Katrina? Remember how they were set up to be stranded in New Orleans by the government? How they were constantly baited with false hope of rescue for a week after the catastrophe? How they eventually were herded by FEMA into concentration camps? You disregard rule.
And after they left, after they got there a week later, they went in there and grabbed your guns, they grabbed your food, they raped your women and your kids and the men. May even rape the dog, I don't know, but I just know that they did all this. So if you don't think it's going to happen in the next hurricane in a couple of weeks, I feel sorry for you. I guess you might as well just, get ready for a murder. Because I'm telling you, they're not playing. And I'm here to warn you. And I'm here to save you. To get ready for this. They're not playing. They got to have everybody, guns confiscated, and martial law before 2020. If you don't know what that means you're going to be chipped like Hitler wanted. Because if you did not know, Hitler's sidekick is George Soros. He made it through the war. In some damn way, somehow, he's at the EU doing the same thing right now in Europe.
Number 1, you'll find out. Get a safe house of your own, an abandoned home, an empty storefront, or even a patch of woods. When the troops start going street to street, house to house, have escape routes by lesser used streets, trails, whatever. You may have to go on foot, so have a light backpack with a few days worth of non-perishable food, portable water purifier, a first aid kit, a light sleeping bag, and your weapon. A mountain bike may be a more optimal and versatile escape mode than your road-dependent car. Better to be on the run, desperate and have your freedom than be imprisoned in a FEMA slave camp. Rule number 9: find a way you can successfully resist. Probably not with guns or bombs, but there's plenty of ways you can monkey wrench the basic functioning of the state during martial law. If you work for the state, you have plenty of opportunities to mess things up, but even private firms are subcontracted by the government. You know who's just earning a paycheck, who's backing this war against the people, and who's getting off on just following orders. If you can take action, great. Concentrate most of your planning on getting away with the job. Otherwise, get contact with patriots and be the most reliable source of intelligence you can be. Every bit of drag on the government beast helps, perhaps in
By the way, Obama is planning on blowing up the White House, folks. Iran has got the bomb. It's already here. It arrived today in a Dallas airport in Washington, D.C. It's already here. And they got more than one. And what they're going to do is and you can believe it if you don't want to believe it. I don't care. I mean, it's here. Okay? And it looks like the movie Sum of All Fears. Okay? Same thing. Same bomb. Same everything. Okay. This is what, and somebody messaged me a while ago on the other YouTube channel that I put that out there. And Madonna did say she wanted to blow up the White House. Well, it's weird. They've got a description of a blonde-headed chick in a UPS truck that's going to drive up at 9:30 in the morning. Not sure what date yet, folks. It could be the 8th. It could be Halloween. It could be 9/11. We don't know. All I know is this is another 9/11 plot, just like they're doing in the West right now and what they're doing in Hawaii. We've been under siege for almost 17 years now. Thanks for the 4 likes. So what I'm trying to get at is after that happens, they're going to have martial law in Washington. Okay? The second day, the whole United States will be in the martial law. Just thought you might want to know that. Between now and December is going to be gun confiscations, folks. During hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes, and you name it. Women, if you're not with a man, that's because you listen to the government, and on top of that, you are easy pickings for the contractors that's going to come in there and whoop your ass. I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm not going to sugarcoat it no more. I'm telling you straight up. And like I said, anybody comments down below something stupid, I'm not even going to say a damn word. You're going to find out that you're blocked, reported, and kicked off. That's all I got to say. I'm running out of time. Obama's birthday is the 8th, and Obama's day on the 4th. So y'all figure it out.
That paperwork, breaking the surveillance camera in disguise, or misdirecting that bureaucrat or soldier cop. That act might be the beginning of a butterfly effect of bringing down the state of martial law and restoring freedom to our nation. Always keep that in mind. You must find your own way, but find it you must, if you want what was stolen from you back. How do you take a nation back that's under martial law? To be honest, it's probably the most difficult challenge anyone can face. Because you're starting a conflict from scratch inside the belly of the beast. You can't fight for territory when you've only got a few guns against divisions of enemy troops equipped with automatic weapons, armor, air support, the pitiful acquiescence of a people who long ago gave up liberty for the trap of existence in a childlike, cushy debt slavery. So the smart coup leaders that prosecute a martial law takeover will do it against a population that's already been pacified in one way or another. Now with the geldings stripped off their chains, they're as fright hostages willing to go along with anything the state orders, so long as they have some semblance of their former lives. Aside from some disgruntled vets, the American people, untrained in the military arts or even basic survival, have been pacified, or the coup would never have taken place. It is simply fear of loss after being so coddled, so divorced as a culture from personal responsibility, which can lead to anger, and then revenge. So the better way to pacify is to bring it on an overwhelming torrent onto a population unprepared for it, unprepared for hardships. Take away their culture, their moral cores, their connections to God. Ply them with diversions and trinkets. Condition them to find solace in material things, in distractions like spectator sports, movies and television. Keep them hypnotized by a junk culture while their means of sustenance, their jobs, are shipped overseas piecemeal, so they don't wake up. Keep them hypnotized while their rights are legislated into impotence and irrelevance by the state's enforcers. Keep them hypnotized by a junk culture, as even the know-how of being able to survive outside the system, basics like growing food, repairing cars and equipment, marksmanship and so on, is all but gone. And all the time tell them they're free and prosperous. Eventually you'll have a people much like modern America's dumbed-down materialistic debt slave. Such a people as ours, constantly fed lies about this corrupt in the media, are ready for a fall now as I write this. All that's needed is a plausible pretext, a cover story for them to accept. People can be stubbornly stupid when it comes to misdirected hope. Many of these slaves will actually defend the system that has enslaved them. Such is the enemy's genius at their social engineering. All those slavishly obeying the state in a martial law environment, for some forlorn hope that their lives will somehow go back to the false paradise of the late 20th century, will in effect be the enemy themselves. But you won't be alone. The enemy's genius is formidable, but not perfect. Quite frankly, they're overconfident, and even if they weren't, they're not God. They can't see all, and they will make fatal mistakes. God will put stumbling blocks in their path to protect you. The question will be, will you be wise enough to exploit those mistakes to help bring their downfall? With whole regions of the country infiltrated and secured, secret industry can develop. Light weapons can be constructed at first, but eventually heavy weapons could be designed and made, and distributed. Ammunition, food, fuel, medicine, all these can be manufactured on or made with basic machine tools and chemistry. The time will come, if the enemy still clings to their foolish hope of defeating the American people with the brainless thugs and sheeple that lick their boots, that entire territories can be openly liberated. Let's not let this scenario play out, because a martial law will lead to civil war and national destruction. What I suggest is that it's much better to organize right now. We still have a political process we can use if we learn how to use it effectively. We can together find small towns and take them over, like the Libertarians' Free State projects, only focused onto individual towns. Take them over, and spread out from there. We as Americans need a standing example of what a free state is. Even some in the traitorous elite don't want to see martial law because they recognize the exquisite control and enslavement the current American political system has over Americans, and want to keep their power. They can be used, then abused. Individually, if you have guns, bury spares of your fighting arms, or sell them privately to new patriot recruits. This will get easier as deteriorating conditions bring the reality of our situation home, and the government's conduct in New Orleans make personal preparation.
It has been ordered to leave.
Buy lots of ammo, food, medicine, reloading supplies. Get these at gun shows for cash only. Go to gun shows while they're still legal. Find books on basic manufacturing processes. That's vital. If you have excess guns to motivated patriots, start driving around. Look for abandoned homes, businesses, and roads or trails that'll get you to them. Caves, forest haunts, old barns, the nastiest trailer in that tired old trailer park. When you recruit, don't let them put their names on any forms that could implicate them in the eyes of the government. Keep your profile low. Patriots will need infiltrators, safe houses, spies. You can't do that if you're still running around openly displaying a "I'm the NRA" sticker or Gadsden flag. sorry. Take your recruits and toughen yourselves and them up. Strengthening exercises, camping, survival courses, hand-to-hand combat courses. Even getting them to let their TV gather dust to do anything that will give benefit. Demonstrations, projects, meetings, find places to hide out. Shooting, and lots of it. Paintball to teach tactics. Range of some sort for battle rifle practice. Air guns and required turning in of targets for their own practice. The airsoft guns are coming along as viable training tools, and as soon as they perfect the paintball battle cycle through them, you should splurge a couple $100 and get some guns in paintballs. Grouped by ammo, parts, food, knowledge, illegal fiction to acquire property not under your own name, nor any connection to you. Have your stashes in several small units throughout the area you figure you're going to operate. The more the better, and no one person should have knowledge of where all the caches are at. A cache should have ammo for the standard weapon caliber your group should standardize on. I recommend a military pattern rifle and 7.62 NATO, along with spare parts because they'll break down with all the shooting and abuse you're gonna heap on them. Enough ammo to refill all your carry mags for a mission. Also, stockpile non-perishable food. Should have low calories, carbs, protein, medical supplies. You won't get a lot of recruits. The enemy's cultural weapons are pretty damn powerful, and their mind control of Americans is exquisite, but not foolproof. On occasion, an event will occur that will defy their spin control and BS, like the live coverage of Hurricane Katrina and their criminal abandonment of a city so people would be screaming for FEMA Big Brother to save them. Also, gangsters wanting a Las Vegas on the Gulf can buy property cheaply. Point out the criminal abandonment of the government to their people. A lot of eyes were opened by Katrina, and not all of them are going to be shut again by those lies. Take your opportunities as they come. I have a plan of peaceful political action that can be used, so here's an excerpt of my essay, Message to Mr. and Mrs. America, at my blog, freedomguide.blogspot.com, Taking Back the Government Peacefully. This is the preferable manner of reclaiming our freedom. To be effective, one must have an understanding of America's political system as it relates to our cause. We have a president, a vice president and their agents, a Congress, a federal judicial system, and the duplication of this political layout among the states. Beyond that, you have the many thousands of county and local governments. So what will work? Take over the presidency? It's long been proven that unless you have the blessings of the two official parties of this nation, you cannot seriously run for president. Even the president can only do so much because America's system of government is extremely compartmentalized, so that unless you have a common ideology and party mechanism guiding and controlling the various components, it's impossible for one man to dictate policy. All a president could do is use the office as a bully pulpit and wake people up, but he would absolutely have to watch his back. Remember JFK? Congress is made up of 540 members, 100 senators and the rest in the House of Representatives. All are elected in staggered election cycles, so it would take approximately a decade of successful nationwide campaigning to create a majority party. Yes, Congress writes the laws and taking it back is essential in our struggle, but even factoring out the two official parties and their political machines, the structure of this body demands a massive political machine of our own. Massive organizations that have a hierarchical structure have been penetrated, subverted and corrupted by our enemies since the beginning of time. It's a process that to them is as natural as breathing. Then there's all the fundraising that would be needed, and we're not rich. The only ones with money in America are the same pack of vampires who've been sucking us dry. So a singular, national organization will not be successful. Independent and rogue candidates, however, do have some success. Tom Tancredo of Colorado and Ron Paul of Texas are some of the successes. Most candidates are attorneys who have long ago prostituted themselves. They order themselves to the political machine that will take them where they want to go. All they want is power, and in exchange they have legislated the monstrosity American government has become. The Democrats and Republicans, their bosses for all practical purposes, appoint these elitists their congressional seats, and they're prepared to spend whatever cash it takes to retain that seat. Vote fraud, of course, is part of their arsenal. It's likely there are no rich left in these times who would willingly sacrifice their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. They're either sold out or scared. So any candidates for Congress will have to be raised and funded by us. That means we have to do it in a grassroots manner. We have to build not one political machine, but an army of political machines that are independent of one another, yet cooperative. This form of political resistance lends itself naturally to our groups. It will go like this. The group helps other groups form. They in turn during the next local election cycle turn out and get the candidates they choose elected in town and county governments. Much of the oppressive laws plaguing us are drafted and enforced locally. Taking over local governments will not only give the freedom groups relief from local law enforcement harassment, it will give us the tools to revoke and repeal such things as property taxes that allow the government to seize that home you're working a lifetime to pay for if you miss one rent installment. Those in power whine that property taxes are for the schools and the children. Isn't that what their gambling rackets known as the lotto are for? And they're willing to make you and yours homeless for the children. All those damn zoning restrictions, regulations, speed trap traffic laws designed to churn up tax revenue, laws criminalizing all sorts of things and actions that bother nobody. Think of any local ordinance that seems to have been drafted by a neurotic control freak. The list would be endless. Unconstitutional, pro-criminal gun control legislation. A big part of their programs disarming us so that we're helpless and have to rely on them exclusively for protection, establishing dependence. Not that the cops are legally obligated to your personal protection, of course. Asterisk anything that pledges cooperation with state and federal authorities, at least until we take our nation back. When we take back a local government and bring that jurisdiction back into line with the classic tenets of American government, it will be a beacon of light, an example of successful peaceful resistance. It will immediately inspire and launch similar efforts in neighboring communities, each composed of small, decentralized groups working together on the big problem, so that one day they can afford to bigger on the small stuff that the libertarians, constitutionalists, Christian patriots, and conservatives currently do. So together, with control of enough cities and townships, the combined efforts of those groups can take over counties. With control of enough counties, an entire state can be taken over by our groups. Why take the next step? The list of things we can do when we take back our local governments is vast, but then there would be the call to centralize governmental control with state and federal authorities. So when this begins, we must be as aggressive as possible, being examples to others, advising, and most importantly, we must not fight amongst ourselves over things we can debate after we retake our land. Backbiting will be exploited by our enemies. It will be our biggest downfall. And if we can take the nation back, there are many things we must do immediately, as soon as we can take back control of America's destiny. 1. Secure our borders from any further infiltration. Whatever that takes, whatever manpower is available, we must find a way to seal up thousands of miles of hinterland border, and many thousands of miles more of coastline. This will take bringing our troops and ships home, and in effect end America's era of being used as a tool of global elitists. At the same time, a heightened state of alert must be maintained if another power were to take advantage of our transitional phase and attempt some economic or military adventure against our interests. America will be painfully contracting from its global economic empire as we attempt to revive a self-sufficient free republic, and the last thing we'll need is for Muslims seeking revenge against America, or China rolling the dice on a military adventure against us. 2. Impose a flexible series of tariffs so that no matter where on earth an imported good is made, its cost after going through customs is just a few % more than one made in America, with all the taxes still imposed. This must be implemented by law for I calculate 20 years, because this is the minimum time required to rebuild America's manufacturing economy. The rest of the world's just going to have to learn to live economically without the American consumer, and the American consumer is going to have to learn basic economics. It will be a horrifically shocking adjustment, and lead to economic collapse of the mega corporations. It's the bitterest medicine, but America and Americans have become almost terminally sick with the current system imposed upon us, and those that don't immediately take steps to save themselves will need some hard lessons quick to bring them back to reality. And what's the most important thing you can do? The most important thing you can do is pray. Some New World Order megachurch and tie it to some blow-dried huckster. Do it like Jesus taught. Find a quiet place, quiet your mind, and open your heart. God will talk to you and convey some insight. If you can't listen, it's because you're out of practice listening, so practice. Eventually God will talk to you, and it's in your best interest to listen. God wants to help you. He isn't looking to burn you for eternity for your petty imperfections. He's looking to liberate his people, all of us. He won't liberate the people if they're dead from living the way the world has brainwashed them to live. God doesn't want his people to sit around like couch potatoes, waiting to be saved from the last days scenario that is happening all around us. He wants you to put what gifts he has given you to good use, and then he will protect you from whatever is beyond your control. And an ex-military vet says it's time to wake up and get prepared for war. You are the militia and you have a self-serving government that has an agenda.
Hello everybody, this is Sound Lord Deary here. Sorry it's been a while.
Listen to this guy, okay? This is the guy I was talking about. Former lieutenant that walked away from the pedophile government. And they say I don't have friends in low places.
But getting ready to go out today, and I have to make this video. I'd like to take a few minutes to discuss the events that happened in Paris. First and foremost, of course, is my heart absolutely goes out to everybody. But the next thing, it's all business. If I didn't talk about this, I'd be doing everybody a disservice. A lot of you ain't gonna like this video. You know, we made a lot of progress in the last summit and everything, and there's summits going on all over the country. But there's still a lot more ground that needs to be gained. I'm just gonna tell you right now. I ain't telling you this to impress you. I'm just letting you know the facts. I'm going out the train today. Yeah, I'm going out in a helicopter. I know a lot of people don't have the capability to do that, but it's not what that's about. I train at least 5 days a week, physical exercise. I try to train with my rifle, my equipment as much as possible, like today. And there's a reason for that. I'm not saying that to impress you. What I'm saying is I'm no different than any of you, for the most part. If you have the least physical ability to get out there and get active, I'm telling you this right now. What happened in France, it is going to happen here. Okay? I've been telling you all forever. Everybody keeps asking me, what's the next step? I keep telling you to get with your people, get trained up, and get ready. Here's the thing. You sit there on the couch, or you sit there on your keyboard. You sit there, your mind, your skill set, if you even have one, diminishes. And you sit on your ass as it grows larger. There's no excuse for that. I'm sorry. There's no excuse for getting out and training, learning, becoming proficient with your individual weapon systems. And there's no reason to not get out there and PT and train and get your mind and your body right, because it is coming. I'm not saying that we can stop every terroristic act, but the aftermath is going to be the real dangerous part. Your government's not going to help you. They are enabling this. Trust me, they are enabling this. They're bringing them here, and they're wanting it to happen. They want it to happen for the same reason right now you got martial law in France. They love exploiting tragedies. They love exploiting death. They like to use it to control you. What better way to control a person? By either shaming him or saying, hey, we're just doing this for your own good. Remember, I've said that before. I want you to grab your rifle. I want you to go to the mirror and take a look at yourself. You know what you are? You are the militia. What you need to do is you need to organize. I'm telling you, for the love of God and everything, holy people, you are running out of time. You want to sit and let this happen to you, and let this happen to your country, when you could have done something about it. When your kids, your grandkids, and ask you why you never done anything. Are you going to have a clean conscience? No, what you're just going to have is a big fat ass. And it's probably going to be secured in some facility somewhere. There's not much more I can tell you. I'm going to try to get some more information out, some more videos. But what I'm saying for the short term, if you don't know which way to go, contact me. I'll try to steer you in the right direction. I don't have all the answers, but damn it. I'm not going to let that be an excuse for inactivity. A movement somewhere is better than sitting still, because it's still a movement. At least you're going somewhere, and you're not sitting dead in the water. I don't really know what else to say. I have a great group of people that I rely on, and I feel pretty good in that. I have a network throughout the country now, ever since the summit, of individuals that we can rely on and talk to. But you need that as well. If you're not in our circle, you need to form one of your own, or you need to get in ours, pure and simple. You're the militia. You're the only thing that's going to save this country. You have a self-serving government that has an agenda, and that your well-being is not in those plans. I'm just telling you this right here. You want to sit? You want to be a big fat ass and sit on the couch? Hey, whatever. If you're in my way, I'm going to take care of you too. Because there ain't no roadblocks when it comes time to act. Just pure and simple. I'm just telling you. You can be part of the solution, you can be part of the fucking problem. Get with people. Get with me, whoever you can. But I ain't got much more to say. I got a lot to sort through, and I got some powder to burn. I need to think this through. Sound Lord, are you ready for golf out?
He said it right. Hey trollers. The lieutenant said, get your ass in gear, or he's gonna kill you if you get in his way. Or you can go into FEMA camp. You decide what you want to do, Gypsy. Dustin, Jim, Burns. You decide what you want to do. Because guess what? Because the American nightmares are here to fuck up anybody that has sold us out, or anybody, back out, bitch. Get out, pussy. Thank you for the 6 likes. But I'm telling you straight up. Either put up or shut up. Grow up. You're grown-ups that's coming to me and messaging me. Mount Mama, if you didn't hear what he just said, woo. He just let the trollers, the bullies, the sexual harassment, the government, former lieutenant that walked away from the pedophile government, is about to kick their ass. And if you haven't heard, you're going to have a bomb very, very soon to go off in the White House. Looks like a Madonna lookalike. I don't know. It might be Madonna. Who knows? She wanted to blow up the White House. She's going to be in a brown UPS truck. That's all we know. And that the bomb just arrived in Washington today. So just thought you might want to know that. And our government is involved. They're going to destroy, just like they did the 9/11 plot. They're going to destroy the White House. Obama is doing this, folks. Why? How do I know this? He signed the executive order. The nuclear warheads went to none other than Iran. And they got more than one nuclear bomb, folks. And what's going to happen is they're going to have ransom on this. If they do not blow up, if they do not bring back the troops from the Middle East, okay, they're going to blow up one by one city with a bomb. A nuclear bomb, just like Sum of All Fears. If you haven't seen the movie Sum of All Fears, it's just like it. It's just like it, folks. I'm going to let y'all hear. I'm going to let y'all hear it. I'm not the only one that's reporting it. Somebody said I was the only one that was reporting it. No, son. Sorry. I'm sorry, whoever you was. Then I never got to even say anything to him because he already erased his whatever his thing. But I will tell you this. You keep on asking me where I get my information, and I'm giving it to you. Over 1,000 videos that I have put out. 1,000, folks. I don't see Alex Jones doing that many videos. I really don't. But I want y'all to hear this. Hedgehog. I said the same thing he said. All I got to say is, get ready. Former military. Moore speaks out. Let's see here. Where's it at? There it is. This is just like aftermath of nuclear attack on America. It's just like the Sum of All Fears and Olympus Has Fallen. Enjoy. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, listen to this. Enjoy.
Scenarios that are part of a U.S. government study on what would happen if...
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, CNN is even telling you what they're going to do. Oh, by the way, CNN was involved with the 9/11 attacks. If you didn't know that. Clinton News Network.
Terrorists set off a 10-kiloton nuclear device in the heart of the nation's capital. The study puts Ground Zero right here, 16th and K Streets Northwest in Washington, just a few blocks from the White House. It's a direct line of sight to the White House, meaning no buildings to shield the White House from the effects of the blast or the fallout. From Ground Zero, the most severe damage extends half a mile in every direction, according to the study. Every building in that area, including the White House, flattened. More than 45,000 people dead.
By the way, they're going to use a white van, just like the pedophiles. Luciferians always say what they are going to do. Yes, you're right, Mountain. You're on it tonight again. She's like, all right, I'm Michael Jordan, and I'm going to hit another 3. She is kicking y'all's butts, man. Left and right. The women on here are absolutely standing on it, son. And all of y'all doing is letting off the gas. And it's like, holy shit. I'm Vin Diesel, and I'm going to give Paul Walker another win. You're awesome. But hey, you work for the government. Duh.
Over 320,000 injured. It's the stuff of movies, like The Sum of All Fears. This study uses a 10-kiloton bomb for an example because experts say that's likely the most deadly device terrorists could put together. The scale is fairly modest. Not too much highly enriched uranium needed for a 10-kiloton bomb, right?
It would fit in this 1-gallon milk jug container.
Just
That's
the uranium.
all you need, the highly enriched uranium. What we call the improvised nuclear device, the IND, would fit in any minivan you see going down the street behind me.
But security expert Randy Larson points out it's still 5,000 times more powerful than the truck bomb that destroyed the federal building in Oklahoma City. On this side of that zone where it's moderate damage, that's survivable, right?
Yes, nothing survivable on that side. Survivable somewhere.
What did I tell y'all about the media? The media wants you dead. And what are they doing? They're making the plot that you're going to die. I mean, it's absolutely outrageous that everybody believes in CNN when CNN wants you dead, African Americans. A bunch of you are African Americans that's watching CNN. Do you know how I know this? I've got people that's watching you watch CNN. Scary, ain't it? Scary, huh? That's because Obama is big on CNN. But what did I tell you about Obama? Obama is coming to kill you, African Americans. I don't think you know this, but if you're not rich, you're dead as a doornail. Oh, he's part of the Freemasons, along with Donald Trump.
What here? But if we just move another half-mile away, like the Air and Space Museum, almost everyone will survive, particularly those inside buildings.
He says the instinct is to look out the window to see what happened, then try to evacuate. But the best thing to do, Larson says, get to a basement or a garage and stay there for at least 7 hours.
Buried deep under these bone-dry high plains, in a coach section of a massively hardened centrifuge facility, a team is hard at work. They are members of a breakaway faction of the country's security forces, and they are busy enriching 40 kilograms of uranium.
Remember uranium. Remember all that stuff they've been talking about in court and everything? Russian with the uranium. Remember that uranium. If you look at it and you look at it the right way, it's not uranium, it's Iran. Get it? Iran. Let's do it again. Come on. Let's say it again. I ran. Like, hey, I ran to the grocery store. If you want to figure it out that way. Iranium. Iran. Remember that, folks. Thanks for the 6 likes.
July 3rd, they achieved their target of 90% enrichment, and then transferred the uranium to a nearby secret lab, where another team of technicians assembles it into a crude nuclear bomb. On August 31, they finished their work. They put the bomb in a packing crate labeled agricultural equipment and transported it to a nearby airfield where it is stored in a warehouse. 2 weeks later, it is removed and loaded onto an aircraft with civilian air cargo markings. It flies to Dubai, where the crate is transferred, along with other goods and equipment, to a global air transport freighter. Destination, Washington, D.C. The plane lands at Washington's Dulles International Airport at 2:47 a.m. on September the 15th. By late afternoon, the crate is delivered to a warehouse in the southeast part of the district. Then, before daybreak, on September the 17th, the bomb is removed from the crate and loaded onto a delivery truck. Several hours later, an American citizen eases the truck out into traffic. She drives it to a location on Pennsylvania Avenue.
All right, she drives it to the location at Pennsylvania Avenue, and it looks like a brown UPS truck. Remember, September the 15th and 17th area, folks. Okay? What's getting close? 23rd of September. Wake me up when September comes. I'm going to give it to you this way. Green Day sang it really good in a video. And what did you just say, Mama? Yes, they are writing the storyline as we speak. Remember when Obama was imprisoning the Bundys. Yeah, I do. I remember that. Bundys, when they defended their ranch, which supposedly had uranium there. Yep, I remember that. And Clinton then sold it to another country. Trusting. Yes. Yes. And what is Donald Trump doing? Nothing. Because they're all together now. Ding. Mama, you're on it again. And where is the men at? They're just sitting there with their mouth wide open, shocked, probably taking a crap in the bathroom or throwing up because this America has turned into sissies.
Right between the White House and the Capitol building. At 11:09 a.m., she stops in the middle of traffic, climbs down onto the street, and triggers the detonator. The bomb explodes with a power of 15.
Madonna just blew it up.
There are more than 80,000 instant deaths, including the president, the vice president, the Speaker of the House, and the 320 members of Congress present when the bomb goes off. There are also more than 100,000 seriously wounded, and virtually no place to treat them. Telecommunication facilities throughout the greater Washington area have gone down. Soon, cable news is broadcasting scenes of vast devastation from the Capitol. A short time later, all major news outlets report receiving an identical message. The message claims that 5 more bombs are hidden in 5 different cities across the country. It says one of these bombs will be set off each week for the next 5 weeks, unless all American troops based overseas are ordered to return immediately to the U.S. homeland. The nation is hurled into panic. Everything begins shutting down. Within a half hour, the stock market drops more than 70% before trading is halted. From coast to coast, masses of people begin to stream out of cities, no matter their size or location. There is widespread gridlock. Cell phone systems are soon overwhelmed, and calls cannot go through. Internet access is impossible.
You know what's scary, Mama? It's not Madonna. It's y'all want to know? She's sitting there at the truck. Don't even go nowhere, and she detonates the bomb at her hands. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I just cracked the case just listening to this. It is none other than Sophia. Exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. And if I'm right, you need to pay me $1 million. Remember, Sophia is a robot. Why would the girl detonate the bomb by herself unless she's already got the MK Ultra chip on her and she's going to kill herself like ISIS? Makes you want to say,
in many regions, and the nation is now in a constitutional crisis. By succession,
Yes.
the Senate President pro tem is now the country's president. But he is being treated for pancreatic cancer far from the Capitol at the Mayo Clinic. The Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, both of whom were testifying to the House Armed Services Committee on their recent budget request, are dead as well. Martial law is declared in Washington and surrounding regions, and the next day, the entire country. There is widespread looting and violence in many cities. Federal and National Guard troops are mustering. Soon there are reports of troops firing on crowds. There are increasing numbers of reports of rioting against immigrants and foreigners. Within days, the military...
I'm going to bug in. They want to fight. They got one. All I got to say is thunder roll. Thunder roll. They don't call me Hurricane Andrew for nothing. I'm going to come like they never seen anybody come before. They're going to wish they never messed with us.
Military begins to construct large detention centers around the country.
Yes, if you just seen the bombs that Jason Aldean and them making, they're making meth bombs for the platoon. If the platoon comes in there, they're going to throw the meth bombs at them. And it looks like Coca-Cola bottles, like big gigantic 3 liters or 2 liter Coca-Cola bottles. We're making all kinds of bombs. They're going to wish they never fucked with us. Jason Aldean is so pissed off right now. Like I said, he's making shark cages right now for these motherfuckers. And we hope Clinton is involved. We hope Obama and them are involved. But if you did not hear what he just said, Congress, the vice president, and the president is going to be there at the same time between the 15th and 17th of September. So remember, we've been hearing 23 all through these movies. From 23, the movie 23, the bomb, is there uranium bomb 23? There's actually a hydrogen bomb in North Korea that has 23 on it. So, like I said, you heard what they said. Why are we not going to be there when we... And it makes sense. I've already said this once. Why is the United States not going to be in the Middle West or Middle East when this happens? This is why. Our troops are going to be coming home to this. I'm telling you right now, it's all set up. Everything. Even the California situation with the fires. I'm sorry to break the news to you. You have been fucked and lied to with none other than Q. Wwe2k18 is them. And they have been having this plan for a long time. JFK sold out. JFK Jr. sold out to the NWO. There's no safe haven unless you fight for yourself and fight with the Marines militia that is fighting for you. That's all I'm going to say. I'll let y'all listen to this last part, and I'm just going to sit there and let y'all see this or hear it. This time, another bomb goes off. Right there at the Capitol building. They said there's going to be like 2 or 3 trucks that's going to come in there. If I'm not mistaken, there's going to be like a brown truck there, a white van, and a couple others. So I'm telling you, it's going to be more than one person. But it's interesting. It's going to be a woman driving a brown UPS truck. And the weird thing is, that's not going to be like, isn't that going to be kind of like interesting that we already know this and they're not stopping it? That's the sad part. Somebody messaged me a while ago on the last video that I did on my other channel. You haven't seen it? I've showed you a picture of the blonde-headed chick. It's a drawing that one of my buddies drew, and actually it's his name's Hedgehog, and it looks just like either Madonna or none other than Ivanka Trump or that other chick, that Sophia robot. So all I can say is we're getting to the nitty gritty. We're almost done, folks, and yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go early tonight. The weird thing is about this, folks, is this is gonna be worse than Black Friday trying to shop to get food. That's why I keep on doing these videos, so y'all can manage, get ready for your, have enough food to survive. Do you realize what's happening in Hawaii and what happened in Hurricane Harvey? Americans are dead, folks. Dead. The government didn't save them. They killed them. I want you to know that. Y'all been used. Y'all paid y'all deals, y'all dues, and I think it was wrong, and that's why I came online to save you. I thought it was the right thing to do. But undoubtedly these kids don't think it's the right thing to do. They rather die. The women, holy crap. Thank you for the subscribers, everyone. And the men that has been finally messaging me, thank you. Really appreciate it. The ones that's playing clown games, go somewhere else. I'm not here for you. I'm here for the women, kids, and the men that wants to be here for your freedom. I'm doing it for Private Wilson White. And I said I will die for him. I'm going to die for you. But I'm not going to die for no clown. I'm not. You just better get ready, because your PlayStation days are almost over. You get ready. You're not going to play NASCAR. You're not going to be playing WWE. You're not going to play Call of Duty. None of it no more, bud. And you're not going to be trolling anymore either. Your days are over for that. I call trolling bullying. Mary Jane, I'm telling you right now, if you smoke any pot, you're smoking rat poison. And if you did not hear, today was smoke free in the United States. And you think the United States is free? No, it's not. It hasn't been since Obama came in office. When you have to take insurance and pay for insurance, if you don't pay for insurance, you get fined or you go to jail. Wake up, man. Wake up. People that's getting the chips already, If you're getting surgeries since 2006 to 2018, you might want to check yourself because you didn't read the bottom of the paper when you signed it. They already already gave you a chip. I just thought you want to know that. Yes, extortion. Yep. Yep. Mountain Mama, I've been hacked on the one that I've been talking to you on my Facebook. Look up Dale Jr. Jackson. That was my nickname from my ex-girlfriend that passed away. Look for that one. That would be Calera, Alabama. I've got probably 200 friends on there. That's probably one of my small ones, but y'all be safe. I'm out for the night. Seriously. I love every one of y'all. And y'all be safe, okay? Y'all be safe. Take care. I'm very emotional about this. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't expect to be alive for this. I'm actually supposed to be dead.